What is going on, everybody? Welcome to another Yamcast. Today is episode 12, and we are going to be looking at a couple pieces of interesting news. We've got Benelli on the chopping block today for some news. Then we're going to be looking at some funny comments that you guys have left us, some wretched Craigslist bikes, and then a bit of what's going on with us. And today's stream is actually kind of special, especially for the Discord boys over at Yammie because we are going to be giving away our motorcycles live on stream. So if you want the chance to join up and do cool stuff like that, hit the link down below, go to Yammie sign up and join the Discord server. But without further ado, let's get into it.
Right off the top of the head.
Look at that. First try. I feel like I always get it really nice when I'm not trying very hard. Mm-hmm. When I'm like not really thinking about what I'm saying, it comes out nice. And at other times it comes out like I was doing the hyper motard. I was like, you got to take what you got to take.
Yup.
That means nothing.
All right. Let's start out with our bit of Benelli news. And I will share this for you boys in Discord so you can follow along at home. Benelli has plans for new models and bigger international presence. Excuse me. A little tickle in the throat there. So we have torn Benelli to shreds a handful of times at this point.
I think at least 3 or 4 times. Yeah.
Yes. I find it interesting here. I did not realize, I knew they were an Italian brand owned by a Chinese company, but I did not realize that the company that owns them also owns Volvo and Lotus.
Yeah, I did not know that either. That is very strange.
Yeah, so it's some sort of gigantic conglomerate, and they're apparently okay with manufacturing just a line of kind of ugly and horrific motorcycles.
Yeah, I kind of feel like owning both Volvo and Lotus puts you at like complete opposite ends of the spectrum, because one is like literally, we're the safest car on the road, and the other is like, we're barely road legal, you know?
It's just a rolling death trap.
Yeah. Have you ever been in a Lotus?
Yes, they're so small. I don't fit.
They're
really.
like a little go-kart. Yeah, they're crazy. They're like as close as you can get to a motorcycle without buying a motorcycle, in my opinion.
Yeah,
they're very interesting.
So the question is, what are they trying to do?
Yeah, what's Benelli got going on?
So apparently they were at EICMA and showed off a couple of bikes, the new TNT 600i, which I know we trashed for being like one of the least reliable motorcycles ever.
They're not very reliable. They're also heavier than the competitors, and they make less power.
Yep.
So it's pretty easy to turn to shreds for that one.
And then
that is, I love that. That's super cool. That sounded great. Thanks.
It's not like we're trying to film a podcast in here. They got the TRK 502X, which I don't actually know what that is. Why don't we do a Google?
Yeah, let's look that up. That sounds like a supermoto type of thing.
Yeah, just
but let's see.
Alphabet soup. Let's see what they've got for us. That's an adventure bike.
Ah, okay.
So it is an uncomfortably close knockoff of the GS F800.
It really does look like it, yeah. I'm assuming 502 means big single cylinder?
It's a twin,
parallel
C2
twin
pipes, so
okay.
Parallel twin, probably just a atrociously slow 500cc.
It looks like to be just like a little bit of a step above a Royal Enfield Himalayan, you know, just a little bit better, but not really.
It's got a really aggressive beak right there.
Kind of multi-strata-esque with the beak.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But getting back to it, they're bringing out this TNT 600 is being, I guess, replaced with the SRK 600, which makes 80 horsepower, which is great if it's, you know, not 600 pounds.
Yeah.
But they do have Brembo brakes on it, Marzocchi suspension, along with a TFT dash, keyless ignition, multiple ride modes, and Bosch ABS and traction control. That's kind of a lot, honestly.
Those are some good premium features, yeah. If they can strip it at a decent price point, that's you're competing with some top dogs there. But It's one thing to have all those. It's another thing for them to work correctly and do the correct things. I'm reminded of the recent episode of the new Common Tread experience that Zach and Ari are doing on Revzilla. And Ari's bike, the CSC little adventure bike, he had like a switchable ABS thing on it, but just like didn't work at all.
Yep.
So it had switchable ABS, but it just didn't do anything, you know?
That's like saying that the XSR 700 has switchable ABS when you pull the fuse out.
Right, yeah. It's like anything is switchable ABS.
But, I mean, one of the things that I kind of poke fun at is just these bikes, they don't look very good.
That's disgusting. What is that? Is that one of their big touring options?
Yeah, that's their version of like a concourse.
That looks like a little Hot Wheels motorcycle you might find at a grocery store.
I mean, it's atrocious.
It's a very ugly bike, yeah.
And they kind of look like low-rent versions of themselves.
Yeah. I mean, the problem I think Benelli will face is they don't have enough of a differentiating design language in a lot of their bikes. All their bikes kind of look like off-brand versions of other bikes, you know? Like you were saying, the other one looked like sort of like an F800 GS.
Yeah, this guy right here.
Yeah, that bike kind of looks like, you know, a Tiger 900 and an F800 had like a baby, I guess, and just, I don't know. They don't really look super premium, but I also don't know what kind of positioning they want to be. Do they want to be a super premium brand? Do they want to be a more budget-friendly brand? I don't know.
Based on what I know about Benelli, which is admittedly limited, they kind of position themselves as a desirable motorcycle in a world where folks in India can't really afford something like a 600 from a Japanese Big 4 bike.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
And honestly, I'm reminded of a like 0 to 100 kilometers an hour pull that I saw. And the guy was like wide open throttle on one of these TNT 600s for like 35 seconds. It was really bad. It was so slow.
A school bus just comes by and he's just giving it all he's got.
It is. I think it's also worth pointing out that this Chinese conglomerate that owns Benelli also is the company that it's QJ Motor that Harley Davidson is going to be working on their branded bikes with. So, again, assuming that Harley Davidson is a little bit more discerning in their partnerships and the bikes they want to put their badge on, maybe this means that we're going to see a slightly different kind of Chinese bike now.
Yeah, I think the perception of Chinese bikes, especially here in the U.S., is still very poor. It's still the type of thing where it's like, why would you get a Chinese bike when you can just get a used Japanese bike? It's very difficult to make the value prop there. So they got a ton of legwork and just work to do in general to make sure that the brand and the perception of Chinese bikes match up to what people think they ought to be, you know? But it's interesting because it's doable, right? Like in the 50s, most people thought of Japanese goods and services as being very low quality, right? After World War II, they thought it was a bunch of garbage. And slowly over time, as people saw like things like the Datsun 240Z, they were like, oh shit, this thing looks super cool and it performs well and it's basically like a Jaguar, but not, and it costs like half the price, you know? But, you know, maybe Benelli can pull it off. Using some of that Italian cachet, using some of that Italian design, powered by Chinese build quality or Indian, you know, manufacturing. I don't know exactly what that relationship kind of looks like, and it can kind of, you know, pull it off. I don't know.
But the thing is does Benelli carry any of that Italian cachet anymore?
I think in America it doesn't, because no one even has a Benelli here. No one even knows that is.
I've seen one or two.
Have you
honestly.
really?
Yeah,
I've never seen
a couple of Benellis, and they've all been these kind of just absolute wretched shit bikes. Like they're all held together with zip ties and
really,
you know, hopes and dreams. They're
kind of like me, to be honest.
I'd like to think that we've got a little bit more steering the ship here. But I don't know. They really don't, like, you stand next to it and you're like, it's a motorcycle. Whereas you stand next to something like an R6 and you're like, oh, damn. Yeah. That's a motorcycle, you know?
And then you see a Harley and you're like, that's a real bike. That's the chain of command there, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And you just don't get that when you stand next to some of these Benellis. And they have kind of a plasticky look and feel to them. And that's why I don't think that there's really any cachet in that brand name anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it kind of remains to be seen what Benelli is going to kind of do in the U.S. and if the TNT 600, for example, will be something that people are interested in, or if it's not, because that I think is a bike they really need to get right if they want to enter the U.S. market, or like a middleweight naked bike.
Yes.
And, no one's making a 4-sill 600 naked bike right now. Honda makes a 650.
Yeah.
So if Benelli could position themselves as the cheaper 650 option type of thing,
But, okay, so here's my counterpoint to that is 600 in our motorcycling world now means 130-ish horsepower, right? Or like 120 horsepower, 55 to 60 foot-pounds of torque, super high performance, committed ergos, track day weapon. So if you're coming out with a 600 and you're like, oh, it's just a bike kind of thing, I feel like it would just get slaughtered.
Yeah.
And then you put it up against something like a 650, and again, I just got to believe it would get slaughtered.
I think so too, mostly because if you took a test ride back-to-back with a Benelli 600, I assume, versus like an XSR 700, I mean, the XSR just wiped the floor with it. It makes almost the same amount of peak power, bucket loads more low-down torque, way more tractable, way more fun to ride. There's kind of a reason why people stop making 600 naked bikes. Parallel twins are more punchy and they make more sense for today's world anyways.
Harleys are glued together with boomer years. I'm assuming that means boomer tears.
Someone said that on chat.
Yeah, right. That's here, great. Daniel Olivert. Harleys are glued together with boomer tears. Actually, you know what? Again, me being the Harley simp, the one that I was riding was competently screwed together. So, and it was 2014. So, I don't know. They're okay.
I couldn't say the same for the Hyper. Actually, I was dropping it back off with the guy and looked at the engine case, and like 3 of the bolts were missing from like the engine case itself.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, and he was like, were those gone before you left? I was like, I have no clue. I was like, I assumed it all had its bolts on the engine case before I left, So...
I mean, we didn't take it apart or anything.
We just wrote it. Shouldn't be doing that.
I got to imagine that that Hyper Motard is just like...
Oh my God, it's been abused so much. Yeah. I mean, you could tell it's been dropped so many times. But yeah, that's just Motard life. That's what they do. Yeah.
Well, I think that's about all we can say out of Benelli. Basically, we hope they come correct, but it kind of feels like they're not gonna.
Yeah. And if they do come, whenever they show up to America, we'll definitely try to swing a leg and test ride and not be too cruel to them. I
mean, I'm willing to try anything at least once, just because you should just see what's out there. Because it would be nice to have a cheap alternative to a big 4 bike.
Yeah, that would be cool.
Variety's the spice of life.
I agree.
But
so that's going to wrap up our news for today. Let's move on to funny comments and Craigslist bikes.
Colin.
And the call-in. I know what I'm doing, I promise. Alrighty, guys, we're now starting our call-in portion of our podcast. If you would like to join up, remember, go to yammie.co and you can sign up and then call us in for our podcast, and then we can chat with you and answer your questions.
Apparently, Taco sold his CRF. Oh, god damn, that was quick.
Yeah, we got a lot of people on stream today. Hello, Hitachi. You're on the Yamcast. How's it going, my man?
What's going on, Yammie? I mean, Keith.
I don't know why that meme persists. My name is not Keith. Spike can actually verify that as a fact.
It's actually Steve.
You've never confirmed that it's not Keith. So.
Well, it could be Peter according to Amazon TV or whatever, so we don't know.
Well, I will choose to believe that it'll be completely fine. We'll continue on with this until you actually definitively prove that your name is not Keith. So, Keith, super excited to talk to you. It has been weeks. I have been a Discord boy for a little while. Not particularly a strong member here, but I really enjoy it.
You've been pretty active on the Discord. I've seen your name popping up a couple of times.
Yeah, a couple of times, because your ass is never on the Discord.
Oh, yeah, right. I'm on there every day. I'm on there all the time. Don't put that out into the world, and people think I'm not on there. I am on the Discord every goddamn day. Almost hourly. Don't let him fool you. What can I do for you?
Don't listen to Keith. He won't be honest about his name. He won't be honest about his activity.
Ridiculous.
So let's just move on. So what's going on, my dudes? Like, I'm super stoked to call in for the first time. I've been watching for a while, long-time listener, very informative. I got to tell you guys, I bought my bike before I met the Yammie crew, and to tell you the truth, I almost regret my decision, but in the same breath, my bike is so damn fun to ride that it's just a difficult time reconciling that. So I'm really looking forward to winning tonight on that bike giveaway. We all know that Andrew Jackson, who's come and personally visited you, has made sure that I'm going to win tonight.
Right. I don't know what that means, but I trust you. What bike did you get as your first?
So I'm an idiot, and I listened to my brother, who's been a rider for quite some time, and I ended up getting a Victory Hammer, which is some 1634cc cruiser. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Big fat tire, hard one to learn on, but it has been a phenomenal ride. Looking forward to kind of branching out maybe into the ADV dad bike sector. I'm kind of looking at a new Africa Twin.
Interesting. Yeah, that's a pretty stout place to start from, but I'm glad that you're having fun and learning as you go.
Oh yeah, it's been a blast. Today is the day, man. DHL is out with my package. It's going to be bringing that cube collector helmet in that we had discussed earlier a few weeks back. The Ruroc Atlas 2.0. I'm going to do a little review for the Discord boys. Shout out to all of the dudes that have made my life worth living. Because obviously living in a capitalistic society has really brought me down.
Right, I feel you. Yeah, we're not gonna get too much into this podcast, but I do surely feel you.
There is nothing worse than trading in my time for cold hard cash left me by stupid shit.
You must submit your labor at the exchange of the almighty dollar. That's just the way it goes. Well, Hitachi, I appreciate you calling in, man. Do you have a question we can answer, or do you just want to bullshit a little bit? Because that's okay too.
Personally, I like bullshitting. I don't really have a lot of questions because you're a different type of rider than I am. But I do want to say that I really appreciate the videos that you throw out. The topics and the information are super informative, even to people who are riding outside of your particular riding style. And having Spied on has been awesome because he is a wealth of information for people like me. And I hope that you give him a little bit more limelight and try not to work him too hard.
Don't you dare make his head any bigger than it already is. Don't you dare compliment Spite.
I don't feel like I
kidding.
could have any less limelight, honestly. I mean, it's like I'm already on...
You got your own videos now.
Yeah, I've got my own videos now. I've got my own, I'm in like every other video.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'm completely happy with where I'm at, honestly.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, we all saw that video where you looked like you were crying for help. So I'm gonna believe what I believe.
He blinked an SOS in Morse code, right?
All right, my dudes. Thanks so much for entertaining me, and hope you guys have a good night. I'll talk to you
All right,
later.
man. Catch you later. We're gonna answer some more calls.
Later.
Always warms my heart when people appreciate you, because I feel like when you started out, it was like people were a little weird about it, because it was like, oh, it's not Yammie, blah, blah, blah. Now it's almost like, oh, it's Yammie again. Like, where's Spite? You know what I mean? So it's nice. It's nice, yeah.
Oh, man. So, that's a voicemail. We've got people desperately trying to call in. It's like back in the day when we first got started.
Yeah.
But, yeah, no, it's been kind of interesting to see how people have received me online.
Yeah.
Got another caller.
Josh from VA. Thinks it's your second time calling in, isn't it?
Second or third.
Second or third. How's it going, man?
Always a pleasure to chat with you guys. Just sitting in the driveway, watching you and Spite sit on my XSR as of right now.
We've got our own XSR. We could sit in the shop over here, yeah.
I don't really have a topic this week to really discuss. I figured I would just check in and see how you guys were truly doing on a personal level.
Well, as many people know, I don't get personal on the internet ever. So I'm doing great.
I guess the better way to put it would be, bike life aside, with everything that's going on in the country and around the world right now, how are you guys handling it?
Yeah, I would say that I think for a lot of people who follow my Instagram, I've been pretty active and vocal about what's going on in the world. And it seems like we're in a period of both tumult and change. I think a lot of stuff is going on. A lot of interesting things are happening, and I'm very, very happy to see that people want to see more change in the world, and we're trying to get to a more equitable and just and verdant world. So it's pretty cool to see. Where exactly is it going to go? I don't know yet. Is it going to get worse before it gets better? Who can say? It's a very anxious and difficult time for most people, but I think I consider myself unbelievably fortunate to be able to navigate it through just by shit posting on the internet. So feeling pretty good about that. Spite.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great way to just get away from it all. Just sit down and make a bunch of jokes on the internet every day, and that's very unique. And I'm glad to be a part of it.
Yeah,
I definitely have to agree. I think that online, talking to everybody and just motorcycles in general don't have any stigmas, don't have any stipulations. There's no classes, basically. It doesn't matter what you ride, doesn't matter where you work, how much you make, what your orientation is sexually or ethnicity-wise. Everybody is just enjoying being under the same group, and it would be nice to see that overall in the world.
Yeah, I tend to think that motorcycles are a great sort of leveling and equalizing force for a lot of people. I've seen a lot of different groups where, like you said, all kinds of walks of life, and everybody comes together over one common thing and gets along. It's pretty cool to see. I see that a lot of track days for sure. Just all kinds of people show up. You know what I mean? It's just a lot of fun when everyone's doing the same thing,
Absolutely. Yeah, I definitely agree with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's well said.
I won't take up too much of your guys' time. It's always good to chat with you guys and good to see everybody online and just having a good time overall despite all the crazy things that are going on.
Yeah, I'm really happy that the Discord can provide even a small, escape from the real world every now and then, and it's fun to see everybody jump on there and having a nice time and just goofing around, I think it was yesterday that the chat was like, I don't know what happened, but everyone started just going insane. I don't know if you saw that. Did you see that at one moment? Like, it was in the afternoon where like everyone just started basically just shit posting all at once.
Yep.
I don't really know what happened, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it was good to chat with you. I'll call on next time, and until then, have fun.
All right, Josh. Take it easy, man. Dirty Taco says, and Spite is pretty cool in person. That hair is even more wild in person. I think that's Taco.
Yep.
I think you met up with him once, right? For a meetup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just an afternoon thing.
Yeah. Zach from California. How's it going, man? You're on the Yamcast.
How's it going, Yammie? How's it going, Spite?
Pretty good. What can we do for you?
Yeah, so I actually had a question I was kind of curious about. So recently got my Ninja 300 that I've had for like a year total. Sucks, but I'm starting to get back out there and looking for a new bike. And I was curious about what your guys' opinion was on getting a leader bike for a second bike. I was looking at a 14 Gixxer 1000. It was like a steal of a deal, and I saw that you could change the power modes and potentially just start off in a lower power mode and might work my way up. Do you think that'd be necessarily a good or bad idea?
So I've heard this argument before a lot about not starting on 1000, but like jumping into a 1000, keeping it a low power mode, and kind of exploring it. I have my own thoughts about it, but I'd like to hear Spite's thoughts first, I think.
Right. Okay. So for the folks on stream, the question was, if you started out on a 300, can you then move up to a leader bike because of power modes and so forth and so on? It's a interesting question because when you first get on something like the R1 in D mode, it's not making significantly more power than like a 600. Not to say that 600s aren't fast, but it's very manageable, and it's got a lot of computers in there that can help keep you upright.
The power band is also very docile.
Yes.
Yeah.
The thing is, you're eventually going to start digging into the more and more and more power, and it's hard to say whether or not you're going to, only you can really determine when you're ready to go into that next power mode. And a leader bike is unbelievably fast.
Yeah.
They are so fast.
Let me ask you a question, Zach. Have you ridden a leader bike before?
not a leader bike. The biggest bike I've ever ridden was a buddy's Ducati 848 Evo.
Okay, so the 848 makes a pokey amount of low-end torque, and it's a really fun bike. A modern-day leader bike is just another level. They are very, very fast. So I guess my question is, what do you do with your bike? Do you, like, what do you like to do with it?
A little bit of everything. My bike is my daily. I go up to Twisties on weekends, you name it, I do it with my bike. And I've ridden tons of different bikes. I've ridden everything from Harleys. I've even ridden the Scrambler, kind of similar to yours. It was the Icon 1100, I believe.
Cool.
And I just love sport bikes, so I wanted to stay in that realm. And it was just a fantastic deal with everything that's going on right now. So that's kind of why I've been looking at this Gixxer.
Yeah, I would say if you're able to, definitely scope a test ride on it and kind of see for yourself. The ergonomics on a 1000 are way more committed than the 300, for example. And you could probably find something that will keep you very entertained, that will be a little bit more comfortable on the street as well. I noticed in what you said, you're not looking at doing any races or track days or stuff like that. So if you're just going like, doing it for daily stuff and canyon carving and all that, me personally, I think a leader bike is overkill. And you could get away with something that's more streetable and more fun, that is going to probably run a little bit less too overall, because tires on leader bikes are very expensive too. They run a 200 rear section, and they wear out pretty quick for hypersport tires as well. So that's kind of my thoughts around it. But what do you think?
I mean, again, it all depends on what you want to do. You said you ride it around, do twisty roads on the weekend. My mind goes straight to like a Ninja 1000, honestly, as opposed to a proper leader bike, just because you got like a 7-degree forward lean or something on that, as opposed to like 30 or 40 degrees.
Yeah,
they're way more comfortable.
An NT10 could be cool too.
Yeah. So I would take a look at the range. There's a lot of sport bikes out there that don't make 200 horsepower because you're not really going to be able to use it. It'll be kind of like sixth gear will get really dusty on you because you'll never get up to that on a
yeah.
On
I honestly don't get into sixth gear on the R1 very much, honestly. No. Yeah,
like not on even if you're on the highway, you don't need to be in anything higher than fourth gear.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I definitely would take a ride on him, kind of check it out, scope it out, and then report back. It would be cool to see maybe with the brand new Gixxer on the Discord, or maybe not. Maybe we'll get something else. Who knows?
Yeah, and then I had like one last question. So in the property damage, they totaled the bike and I kept it. I was thinking about not registering it and turning that into a track bike. I'm only like an hour away from Buttonwillow Raceway, an hour and a half from Laguna Seca. So we've got tons of track days here. There's one pretty much every weekend. Would a 300 be a good way to start there?
Absolutely. Yes. 300 is a great platform to start to really learn. The best part about the little bikes is you can reach the limit pretty quickly, and then you'll start to feel what it's like to operate a bike close or at the limit. You'll notice the kind of wiggles that they do, the slides and pushing that they do when they get close to the limit of the tire and the chassis. It's a great platform to learn. Yeah, I highly recommend it.
Okay, awesome. Thank you guys very much.
Cool, man. Best of luck. I'll see you in the Discord. So many active boys today.
Yeah, I know.
Very good.
It's almost like we might be giving away some motorcycles or something after this.
Randy Levitt says, I love my MT10 so much, I never stop thinking about that bike. I agree. The MT10 is a fantastic bike. It just rides really, really well. Ugly as sin, but it just rides great.
I want to take a rip on it because I actually kind of like the face on it.
Yeah. Well, you like the R1. I think you'd really like the MT10.
Mm-hmm.
Aaron from Aggieland, you're on the Yamcast. How's it going, man?
Pretty good. How are you?
Good. I think you mentioned you were from Aggieland. That's in Texas, I assume, right?
Yeah, just to poke you because, Austin.
What can we do for you?
First time on the Yamcast and first time tuning in. Kind of new-ish at riding. I just got back into it. I took a bunch of years off. I've owned 3 motorcycles. First 2 were really big paperweights that I never actually finished putting together. And actually pretty recently, about 2 months ago, I was in an accident, shattered my wrist and really broke 2 bones in my foot.
Ouch.
And like, pain or not, it's just more of a headache. When it happened, the person that saw it happen came up to me and he's like, yeah, all you did was sigh, because that's what I did. I just sighed because I knew I wasn't going to be able to ride for a couple of weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And now I'm in the issue where I have to try and talk my family into being okay with, I'm going to ride regardless. And then, like, two brothers, they understand. They don't get it, but they understand because, you know, I skydive for fun. But how do I'm 30 years old next month, and I still have to talk my mom into being okay with me riding a motorcycle.
Yeah, so I've actually ran into this myself, especially after the really big accident I had a couple years ago, back in 2017. And it's a hard conversation whenever you're trying to tell people where it's like, hey, I love doing this thing and I'm going to keep doing it. Like, just because this happened to me isn't going to deter me. And at the end of the day, it's your life, man. You got to let them know that it's like, this is something I like doing. I really would appreciate if you supported me and would, help me kind of go along this path and be in my corner for this. But sometimes people just aren't willing to do that. It also takes time too. I think some people, parents especially, can get very upset about stuff like that because they obviously don't want to see their children get hurt and all that. But, over time they become more accepting of it and are okay with it and all that kind of stuff. So I would say just kind of, make sure that you're showing them that you're taking the right actions. You're not doing anything silly on your bike, that you're taking precautions and all that and wearing your gear and all that. That's kind of my advice. What do you think?
Yeah, so fill it in on the folks on the stream. The question was how to talk to folks, your folks specifically, and be like, hey, I'm going to ride again. How do you make them okay with it after a crash? My biggest piece of advice is maybe show them gear. Like, show them what you wear.
Show them how good gear's gotten in the last few years.
Because that was one of the things that made my mom specifically a little bit more comfortable with me. Is I was like, put on this jacket, just feel what this jacket is like. It can help put people at ease. Of course, gear is not a 100% catch-all, but it will help make people understand that you are being safe and that you are doing what you can to mitigate risk, right? Because that's what riding at the end of the day is all about, is mitigating risk. So if you can show them, it helps.
It's kind of funny you should bring gear up like that, because everybody keeps telling me, oh, you're so lucky, when really I was wearing my gear. I didn't have my gloves. That's a funny story with Revzilla. They recommended one size. I ordered it too small, sent them back. Was waiting on them to come in and decided I didn't feel like waiting and not riding with gloves.
Yep.
So I ordered them.
Always happens.
And 16 hours later, accident.
Mm-hmm.
They were in the mail. But my gear, like, I showed them on the helmet where where the back of my head would have hit. There's this little scuff. Across the right eye, there was a drag mark, and then across the teeth area, there was a heavy drag mark. And I'm like, look, I'm not as lucky as you think. I was just wearing my gear.
Yep.
Right.
And they're like, oh, you could have died. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not going to ride without my helmet. So.
Yeah, that's what I tell people a lot about the wreck I had in 2017. They're just like, how the fuck are you still alive? And I was like, I literally couldn't have been wearing better gear at the time. I was wearing a full suit, full track boots, full track gauntlets, and a full face helmet. The only thing I could have done better was wear an airbag suit, but basically was wearing the best gear possible. And I'm a firm believer that wearing good gear makes a big, big, big difference. Mm-hmm. It's why I will only wear an Arai on my head now, because it's saved my life,
Do you remember the exact moment of your accident? Because it was a weird experience for me that I'm very cognizant of. It was like it was happening in slow motion, but it was kind of like boss level type thing where you have to, like, you're forced to think about 7 different things at once, because it was a really strange feeling, but it felt like it wasn't happening, and I had to make very quick decisions, but it was all within like 4 seconds.
Yeah, it was basically the same with me. It happened like instantly, but also in slow motion. I remember the very moment right before impact, and then it seemed like everything happened super fast after that. And then apparently, I don't remember any of the days after. I only remember like the 3rd day after all of it. So the memory starts to get very splotchy. But Yeah, it's very similar experiences that I've heard of other people with accidents. Spike, whenever that drunk driver hit you, do you remember the moment that happened? Or? Yeah.
Very clearly. I remember everything about that day very clearly.
Yeah.
So that was a rough one, but again, I just had bruises because I was wearing my gear.
Yeah.
So
solid.
Yeah.
So I'd say lean with that, man. Go with the gear with them, and hopefully they'll start understanding that it's really not a. I mean, it's cheesy to say, but it is a way of life, you know.
Yep.
Yeah. Last point I wanted to make. Whenever I did get my accident, I think the wrist break might have been avoidable with gloves, and the foot break was because the bike landed on me when I was being dragged. It wasn't so much that it hit the ground any. I think it was just a 600-pound bike being on top of me. I'm a cruiser bro. But when the ambulance got there, they unsnapped my helmet and did not unbuckle it fully. When they pulled it off of me, they asked if I had a head or neck or back or neck injury. I said no, and then they just yanked it off. I ended up scraping my face pretty bad, but it also told me that they had no idea how to take a helmet off. So what I did is I gave the fire department my helmet, and they passed it around every different fire department in the county so they could train with it, because I showed them the emergency pull tabs that are on most helmets now.
Yeah.
But I would recommend to everybody out there to do the same. If you've got a used helmet that you're not using anymore, to just donate it for training purposes, because those guys had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah, I remember my accident. I told the guys to be like super duper careful with my head and my neck when they were taking off the helmet. I remember very clearly telling them that over and over and over again to very carefully remove the helmet, because you can cause a lot of injuries by kind of snapping that off someone's head. Yeah.
Yeah. And most full-face helmets I know have the emergency pull tabs now.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's it from me. I'm just your broke college kid cruiser bro, and got a 01 Suzuki Marauder that it's actually doing just fine. I broke its fall, so I'll be back on maybe tomorrow, actually. Probably not a good idea. I'm going to get the pins out of my wrist first, but after that, I should be back on the bike, and I'll be in Austin to see you guys sometime.
Sweet, man. We'll see you soon then.
All right, thank you.
All right, later. Hey, what's up, man? How's it going?
Hi, this is Mighty Ninja from the Discord.
How you doing?
Good. I believe I'm your only guys' Royal Enfield boy on the Discord.
Are you going to be as loud-mouthed as all the other Royal Enfield owners on YouTube?
No. I know I'm part of the slow gang, so...
I don't know what it is about Royal Enfield. You guys just really love your bikes. I mean, I vibe with it. I mean, I love my bikes too, but man, Royal Enfield lovers are another level, man.
Hell yeah. I just love the old aesthetic of them.
Yeah. So what can I do for you?
So my question for the Yamcast is, do you believe that Royal Enfield would be more popular in the States if they offered more than, let's say, because in the States they only have technically 5 models. Let's say if they bumped it up to like 7 models with different engine sizes.
I'm
going to be very blunt about this, and I'm sorry, but
First of all, let's say what the question is for the stream.
That's right, yeah.
The question was, if Royal Enfield had more than the 5 models that they have in America, do we think that it would be more popular?
Yes.
Now be blunt about it.
Royal Enfield could offer 100 different motorcycles in the U.S. It doesn't make a difference to me if they're all the same build quality, like they're from 1945 or whatever. I think Royal Enfield has a lot of work to do with the types of the bikes they build, and relying a little bit less on that aesthetic and old school charm, and a little bit more of making like a quality, interesting motorcycle that appeals to more people than just people who want the retro vibes. The Himalayan's a great example, right? Where it's like, you know, it's a cool looking bike. It's a nice little ADV. It is dog slow for what it is. It's heavy for what it is. And it just doesn't compete very well with something like even like the KTM 390 Adventure. You know, it has a TFT display, quick shifter, traction control, all kinds of cool stuff. So I think Royal Enfield should possibly consider making more modern motorcycles if they want to sell in America. Spite, what do you think?
I think they could go down the route of something like a Triumph, where they still have these really kind of old school aesthetics, but they mate them to really modern tech. I mean, it's something like the Thruxton, which is a fast little parallel twin, well, little 1200 cc's, I think. It's a fast.
You've been being on the
bike
Harley website
with,
too much.
Yeah, with you know, it's got Brembos, it's got Öhlins, it's got, you know, ABS modes, all of that good stuff. Obviously, that bike is the kind of tip of the pyramid, really, and it's priced like it. But they could do something like that and make a better motorcycle, you know, and they can still keep the aesthetic, because I think a lot of people really, really vibe with that
Totally.
old school look and feel. But you can do that while also having, you know, modern stuff under the hood, and that unfortunately requires a lot of development. It'll take a couple of years for them to get it really right, but they've got the resources. They just got to do it, you know.
Oh, definitely, yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, we just shit all over Royal Enfield. I know that.
No, no. I just know that they're never gonna get to the level of Harley in the States or like the Big Four in the States.
I feel like loving a Royal Enfield is like loving some sports team that never does well.
It's like loving the Browns.
The Browns, yeah, that's what I was thinking of. Yeah, they're just always apologizing for them. Always just be like, no, they got it this year. It's okay. Blah blah blah. So I really resonate with you guys, you Royal Enfield guys that like those bikes.
Oh yeah, like so I'm just a young buck, 24-year-old, and this is my first bike. But every time I stop at a gas station, I always get like the old guys that come up to me and be like, "Where did you get that bike? I've never seen a bike like that before."
Mm-hmm.
You should be like, I'm a time traveler and I'm from 1962.
I've always thought of messing with some of those guys' head, but I just don't have the heart in me.
Yeah, I used to get the same thing with my Triumph. I had the Daytona for the street. I'd pull up to a gas station, always some old timer come up and be like, they didn't make Triumphs like that back in my day. That's a Triumph. That's crazy. And I'm like, yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, I've heard it 3 times already this week. So it's kind of fun.
But I this is my first bike, and I'm just starting to learn on it. And hopefully next year, I'm gonna aim to get a Kawasaki Z900.
Oh, that'll be an awesome jump. Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll feel like a fucking rocket ship compared to the Royal Enfield. But I think it's great,
yeah.
you know, like I think it's great starting off on that and having fun with it. Yeah, take your time with it, learn with it, have fun. Like, you know, you got a whole life ahead of you to buy all kinds of motorcycles, so.
Oh yeah, I always tell my friends that the Enfield is for me and the soon-to-be wifey to take cruises on Sundays, and when I get the Z900, that's going to be my hooligan bike with the boys.
Yeah, that's an awesome goal, man. I love that.
All right, I think that's it for me, guys.
All right, man. Well, I appreciate you calling. We'll catch you on the Discord. Alrighty, guys, that's going to wrap up our call-in portion. Now we're going to jump into funny comments and Craigslist.
Without yeeting it into a wall.
I went all the way, I started out here. It's easy when you're outside. It's easy when you're outside, man.
Yeah, you guys probably didn't hear about that, but at one point we had a little mini drone. And,
we still have it. It didn't die.
Yeah, it didn't die. Well, it did for a little while.
Yeah.
And you were test flying it inside, picked it up, and immediately sent it straight into a wall.
Not immediately. So what happened was I started it up, and I was like, man, the drone is so cool. And it explicitly said in the instructions and in things like, do not fly it indoors. It's like, who fucking cares? I was like, I know what I'm doing. So, because the warehouse space is pretty big. It's big enough to fly a drone in, as long as you're not an idiot about it, which of course I put the drone in sport mode and I fucking yeeted it into the wall. So I literally, like I just toggled it moved so fucking fast. I toggled the little thing and it just right into the fucking wall, hit the ground, started spinning around everywhere, and I literally was just standing there like just watching it die. I was like, there goes $400 down the toilet. I didn't do anything. I was just watching it just clobber itself into death. I was like, cool. All right, cool. I just blew $400. But thankfully, it just needed propellers, and it's okay now.
Well, we had spare propellers, and then you dropped it and broke the spare propellers.
Yeah, then I broke those too, yeah. So now I'm very careful with the drone. I like everything I own. I just don't really care about it very much, you know? Like the Scrambler's kind of like that. My race bike's like that. I'm not super precious about things. Yeah. Alrighty, let me...
Yep. I'm gonna back sync that so that
we
can, because that's
it's a pretty good story.
Yep. Okay, so we are diving into our little comments section now. Why don't we just dive right in with one off of the S1000RR video. And this is one that I saw a little bit, and I'd like to talk a little bit more about. It's not particularly interesting, though it is interesting to me. So Philip Lentinov, what do you mean soulless? How can someone not love the amount of refinement and craftsmanship put into a bike? I don't think anyone has ever said going into a corner, I wish this was a crappier bike. And the thing that I mean about a bike being soulless is because it's so good, it just does everything for you, you know? A motorcycle can basically... The S1000RR can almost ride itself.
Pretty much. Yeah.
It basically, you don't need to be there. You're just there because you want to ride a motorcycle. Mm-hmm. And I like a little, and not that I need it to be flawed necessarily, but I like the bike to feel something. You know, the S1000RR, and I haven't ridden it, but from your stories and the things that I've seen about it.
Yeah, I've ridden quite a few of them, yeah.
It just is so effortlessly powerful, but it's an inline 4 that has a lot of computers and is really good, but is not, you know, it doesn't feel like it's got a lot of effervescent quality to it.
It's sort of like, you know, something can be very highly craftsmanlike and perfect, but also be beautiful. I think of something like a super fine watch, you know? Mm-hmm. You're like, wow, it's so intricate and wonderful, and you can see all the pieces moving, and you can tell a lot of soul and craft went into it, even though it's just so pristine and refined, versus something like an impact gun that does something very, very well and kind of whirs away, and it's also pristine and refined, but in like a very utilitarian way. Mm-hmm. The S1000RR is super pristine and refined in a very utilitarian way, in my opinion. That's why it feels soulless to me, cold. Mm-hmm. And I don't know what it is about that bike in particular, but it really does just feel clinical. That's the word I always think in my brain when I ride it. It just goes about its business just above board, and like it doesn't feel playful or fun, mm-hmm. you know? You ride something like the V4S or the R1, and there's so much more pizzazz and energy to those bikes.
Yeah, and I don't know what it is about the R1, but it feels so... Like, it feels like the bike is talking to you a little bit. It doesn't seem like something like the S1000RR has something to say to you while you're riding it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, and again, like, I think the thing you're saying here, Philip, this like, I wish this was a crappier bike. I think you've actually said, not exactly that, but like when you rode the Street Triple versus the XSR, you've often told me, you're like, I know the XSR is objectively a crappier bike than the Street Triple, but I like riding it more.
Yeah.
You know? And that's the difference.
Yeah, it just has... there's something about the way it rides. There's a rowdy character to it that doesn't feel so buttoned up. Mm-hmm. And that's why I love the XSR so much.
Yeah.
Is because it's just... It's got... suspension like pogo sticks and mattress springs. It's really not that great.
Yeah.
But it's still so much fun, and the sound it makes is so much fun. It's just... It's an completely different ride to something like the Street Triple or even my VFR.
Yeah. Daniel Olivet said here on chat, very succinct, and I think that just sums it up for this when he says, motorcycles are emotion, and it's emotionless.
Yes.
That's the thing.
Yep.
Yeah. So moving on to the next one. This one was very funny, and you showed me this one when it came out, and I saw it live. It was a very funny comment. It was on our R1 versus VFR video. DeBlazer said, this is freezing my brain. Why do you talk about such a stupid stuff and be serious about it? Fuck me. Just ride what you like. Get AIDS, Yammie Noob. I think I'm doing a really good job on the internet when someone tells me to get AIDS.
That's like your measure of success?
Absolutely. Yeah, if someone's telling me to get AIDS, I've done my work, you know? How could you be this upset about a video?
I know. Honestly, I don't understand why... Okay, I get why somebody who has never ridden a motorcycle before would think that video is stupid, because it's like, oh, the R1 versus the VFR, the R1's the best motorcycle ever made, blah, 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 blah. There's the spec sheet warrior.
Yeah.
They're just... But to somebody who's starting out, maybe doesn't know a ton about bikes, or, is just a car guy, there's a lot about those bikes that they could easily mistake.
Yeah.
And that's why I think there's a lot of value in that video.
I honestly, what's funny is when we were making it, so before we made it, I was like, oh, this feels kind of like we're just kind of making this video just to make it. But then when we got into it, I was like, there's a lot to say here. And this is actually really interesting looking at these two bikes back to back, Yep.
And
I thought it was a great video, and it's looking like it's doing pretty well too.
Yeah, I think it trended at like #1 for the first 24 hours. It
was doing
went
good.
Off like a shot.
Yeah.
So I think it's just funny when these people get so... This has got to be a spec sheet warrior, never ridden the R1, but absolutely is a diehard simp for it.
Yeah.
And, just watch the video. You'll understand why we made that video.
It's so funny speaking about big power stuff like that, because since we've gotten the... I can't say it, but we've gotten a very fun little motorcycle here in the shop for our next giveaway, which is going to come out in the next couple of days after this video comes out. And I've had more fun riding that thing around just in front of the shop here than I ever have with the R1.
Yep.
It's such a goofy little thing, you know?
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the video we're shooting this week.
Yeah, this Friday's video. Don't miss it. It's going to be very, very good. Let's see the next comment.
So the next one was on our 7 Stages of Squid Life video. Also a very fun video to shoot. Carolyn Acero Akili, I guess? Oh gosh, I love this. Excellent job, Yammie. I watch for the great pointers, bike reviews, Spite's hair, and the sheer entertainment. And that mustache, I'm addicted.
Oh, that was the one I wore the duct tape mustache, right? I feel like, man, I kind of want to grow a mustache. I feel like I could pull it off. Could really pull it off. Maybe get a nice little pedo stash going here, nice and powerful. That could be fun. But I'm glad people are enjoying it. We had tons of fun making that video.
That one was super duper unique, too.
Yeah, we never done anything like that. We literally wrote out like the whole script for it. That was a ton of work. And it hasn't done amazing, but I feel like the people who did watch it really enjoyed it.
Yes. And despite the fact that we went like next level kind of clickbait with the thumbnail, like we did with the throttle chop one.
Yeah.
But that was just a fun day of shouting to a camera.
Yes.
So why don't you take the next one here?
Sure. On the Hyper Motard vlog that just came out today, Full Metal Freak says, to be honest, Hyper Motard always sounded like an insult to me, like what you'd call a massive squid. And I agree, like it really does sound like a slur or something.
I honestly thought that that's what like all DRZ supermoto style bikes were. I thought everybody just like referred to people who ride those as hyper motards.
Hyper motards. I feel like a hyper motard sometimes. Yeah, it's a weird name. I think the word motard is a weird word in general, but it describes such a specific type of bike, you know? But it's weird how they have like super motard or supermoto or hyper motard, but there's no hypermoto. No one ever says that. And hyper motard really is just Ducati's nomenclature for that bike, because they have to be different, you know? They have to do something different, because it's really not a supermoto at all.
Yeah, no, I mean that thing is something completely different.
Yeah,
because you look at like my supermoto next to it, they could not be, more dissimilar.
Yeah,
but
it's basically a naked bike, honestly.
Yeah,
it's just it fits a little differently and the shape's a little different, but it's basically a naked bike.
Yeah, I would say depending on how that torque is delivered, it probably is a little bit punchier than a naked. When I think of a naked...
It's such a shame you didn't ride it.
Yeah.
It's bonkers torque. Bonkers. Everything felt slow to me for like a good 2 days after I rode that thing.
Just because of the punch off the line.
Yeah. The punch off the line was unreal. Yeah, and just like the clutch was so heavy too. Like I jumped on the street triple and I rode it back home instead of the Hyper Motard, and the clutch felt like nothing. It was just like, oh my God. So it was a fun bike. Yeah.
I'm kind of glad I didn't ride it with the bolts that had fallen out and the way
it was a little sketch.
Yeah. I was a little worried it was going to explode on me.
Yeah. So now let's see about this Sportster vid.
Yeah, okay. So this one came from the held for review section, as you can probably tell. But Steve Legend here, who has commented on pretty much every Harley video, or every video that has mentioned Harley Davidson negatively, I recognize our little middle finger, profile picture.
Some of these people comment like it's their full-time jobs.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
And so most of his comments land in held for review.
Yeah.
And he says, HD is shit, and nothing a beta male can say will change the facts.
I mean, you gotta love when someone pulls out the old alpha beta male paradigm to really put you in your place, you know?
Because I'm really worried about what somebody else on the internet thinks of me.
Yeah, clearly.
But, I mean, I understand why people don't like Harley Davidson. And you cannot like Harley Davidson all you want. And I've seen a bunch of people who are like, dude, you need to shut up about the Sportster and go ride other Harleys. I've ridden other Harleys. I just like the Sportster a lot. It's a personal bike that I would like to ride and like to own.
Yeah, that happens a lot where people think that there's like sort of like one best bike or one best brand, or if like you like a bike, it's because you haven't ridden some other bike that is better. And it's like, sometimes you just like a fucking motorcycle and it's not that deep, you know? Yeah. I keep having to explain that to people for like the Desert Sled, for example. Like, they're like, oh, you gotta ride this thing. You gotta ride this ADV, it's better. Or you gotta try dual sport, you gotta ride this. And I'm like, I just like the bike. No other bike makes me feel like that bike. I just like it a lot. It's not deep, you know?
And that's all you need.
Yeah, it's not deep.
Like, the bonus extra comment, I forgot what video it was on, but I think it was on the Modern Classics video. Some guy, real butthurt, real early in, said something to the effect of, if you're not riding a sport bike or a super sport, I'm gonna break your mirror while I'm doing my 0 to 160, or 0 to 60 in some. He was like some sort of like underhanded
what a tough
flex.
guy.
And it's like, dude, you're probably never ever going to be ballsy enough to reach over and smack somebody else's stuff while you're riding. You're just flexing on the internet.
Yeah.
Because somebody has the audacity to not ride a super sport motorcycle.
Yeah.
Whatever. But that's me going off on commenters.
Yep. Per usual. All right, now let's move on to our Craigslist bikes.
And all of these Craigslist bikes today are powered by our folks in Discord. Y'all were very helpful.
Awesome.
So I'm going to start resharing them. Yep, picture taco. There we go. What he said.
Yam's future look.
Oh, boy.
Could be. I could look like that. You have more hair than me, but I could look like that.
That was a great way to come back to Discord.
Taco, that is a powerful visage you have there. Shocking.
Okay, well, now we got to get on to our Discord, or Craigslist bikes. First one here is this little three-wheeled Piaggio Scoot.
Oh, man. So these are crazy popular in Europe. You see these everywhere in Europe. I've never seen one in America. That's crazy.
I don't get it. Why?
It's they're real nimble and they don't fall over. That's the big thing. And I think for some people they're worried about two wheels and they want something that just has more rubber on the road and just keeps them in place. Literally in London and in Paris, dude, you cannot unsee these. They're literally just ubiquitous on the roads. If any of our Euro boys are chiming in super late here, I know it's super late over in Europe, but if you guys are awake, you'll know about these three-wheel Piaggios. They're literally everywhere.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
This thing has 19,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah. I don't know what one of these is doing in America. I didn't know we even sold these here. I wonder if he imported it.
He might have, because
very
it's in
strange.
kilometers.
Yeah, I don't know if these are sold in the American market.
That thing's crazy, but he's...
Camille on the stream says baby Nikons, and yes, it kind of is like a little baby Nikon, yeah.
Yeah. And he says trade, ? He wants $3,600 for it. If he imported it, I gotta believe that it's worth more than $3,600, right?
I mean, maybe. It's an 08, so it's pretty old.
It also does have almost 20,000 kilometers on it.
Yeah, which is a good chunk, but honestly, little scoots like that, you'll see them happily churning away at 50,000 Ks.
Oh, absolutely.
So it's a really interesting vehicle, and it's really utilitarian. One of the big reasons why people use these little scooters, if you go in the last photo, I mean, look at how huge that top box is you can slap onto it, right?
Yeah, that's like a GV one that's got a little backrest in it for the pillion.
Yeah, they're super practical for urban duty. And again, they can't fall over. But I don't know why. I mean, in America, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Mm-hmm. Maybe there's some like insurance or licensing thing in Europe that you can get away with having this thing or whatever. Mm-hmm. I don't know, but yeah.
This is in Seattle, so Let's see what the map says. Like where at? Just outside of Gig Harbor. So.
Yeah, on the other side.
That feels like a place you'd want a real motorcycle.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
some great riding up there.
Yeah, I want to go out there and ride one of these days.
We should expense out a trip for Yammie Noob and go out there and rent some twisted road bikes or something.
That would be beautiful.
Yeah.
But moving on, and the rest of these are all from Facebook Marketplace.
Whoa, $70,000? What?
So let me reshare
what in the
this
fresh fuck
with our Discord boys here.
This is gonna be good.
Yes, it will. This is a Ducati 1199 Panigale Cafe Racer for $70,000.
What on earth? And it has like MotoGP rain tires on it. What the hell is that? Ooh, a K-Tech rear. That's not bad.
I mean, look at this thing.
It literally has like those look like GP wet tires.
Mm-hmm.
That's really weird.
I've never seen a bike like this because I've never seen somebody ballsy enough to destroy their 1199 Panigale.
Yeah. Someone's crazy enough to do it though.
I mean,
see if you can blow up the image a little bit. Can we get a bigger one going, or is that as big?
That's as big as it gets.
I'm sure if we looked a little closer, we'd see a bunch of interesting details. I think it's got a dry clutch on it. It's a really popular thing to do to those.
Yeah, right there. You can see the clutch basket.
It's really wild to see. Is that the stock 1199 frame? Does it look like that? Not the color, obviously, but
it looks like it's the stock frame. Yeah.
I didn't know they look like that. That's really thin. As if you look at the R1's frame, it's a big, beefy motherfucker. You know.
Let's check it out.
Yeah,
so,
let's find the
1199 frame. Yeah, it's this little trellis deal.
Wow.
There you go.
That's crazy. And the engine's a stressed member and it doesn't go down. That's actually bonkers. I didn't know it was that small.
Gotta save weight somewhere.
Yeah. I've yet to ride one of the big twin older Panigales. I've ridden the 959 and the 899. I've never ridden like the 1098 or the 1199. I hear they're awesome.
There's a 959 in my garage that hasn't moved in 6 months.
Yeah.
Which just, it like is a dagger to the soul.
Yeah.
Just seeing that thing under a tarp for months and months and months at a time.
I want to rip one of the new V2s so bad. I think it's like the perfect blend of everything. I'd love to rip one.
I'd definitely be willing to give that a shot.
Yeah, let's see what they say, though, on this crazy 1199 cafe bike.
Completely custom-built Panigale 1199, built in-house at HVMC to resemble Paul Smart-inspired cafe racer that is still fully functional and true to its racing roots. I would not want to take this on a racetrack. Bike features K-Tech suspension, custom fabricated bolt-on trellis exo frame, subframe, custom headlight, custom bars, dry clutch conversion kit, Ducati performance fluid reservoirs, see-through engine cover, spoked wheels, Dunlop racing rain tires, and much. I'm assuming he meant and much more.
Right.
Racing radiator, custom exhaust, new rage cycles, front LED blinkers, love those. Mm-hmm. Fender eliminator kit, and much more.
The wheels are a crazy touch. Look at those things.
Those look bizarre. I've never seen a tire like that before.
Yeah. Those wheels are really, really interesting. Again, so here's the thing that happens with these crazy builds. Like, you're never going to get $70K for it. It's just such a one-off thing. It's just so bizarre. The market for this is just so exceedingly small. You're going to have to probably just relegate this to just be like a shop bike that just sits somewhere that people look at when they come in or something.
It's like sell it to a museum or something like that.
Yeah.
But, hey, look at the single-sided swing arm spoked wheels.
Yeah, this
thing's
beautiful.
It's a work of art.
Yeah.
I'd never buy it.
No, certainly not.
So, moving on, we've got...
Oh, no.
This.
Oh, man.
Sharing it
we gotta look at stuff like this, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, son of a bitch.
The
Oh, don't worry, Spike. The listing is too far from your current location. It can't hurt you.
Just in case I wanted to go buy this atrocious motorcycle.
Yeah.
2003 GSX-R. This has got to be a 1000.
And they ask us, why do you guys clown on Suzuki? Why do you clown on GSX-Rs? It's too fucking easy. You keep teeing us up like this. It's too fucking easy.
You don't get a good view of it elsewhere, but this is a Corona themed.
Is it really?
It's got Corona right there on the side.
Corona
cover.
is in the beer, not Corona as the virus. Yeah. But wow.
Just
03 Gixxer goodness.
Absolute abomination of a motorcycle right there.
Very ugly. But here's the thing. It's actually not. It looks relatively clean. I will give it that. It's very ugly, but it's not wretched and dirty and like beat up, you know?
No, you could fix this.
You could fix it. It'll take a lot of work, but you could fix it.
For $4,000, it almost feels like you might as well just turn it into a track bike.
Yeah. I mean, I would totally. I don't remember if the 03s are carbed or not. They might not be, or they might be. I don't remember.
I would wager they're carbed. I feel like
probably
the main...
the R6 stopped being carbed in like 2001, I think, 2002. So early gen sport bikes, you never quite know. But I mean, these are great platforms. I mean, the GSX-R is a great track day platform.
Yeah, so here's what our guy is saying about it. Never been in a wreck, runs great, less than 300 miles on the chain, oil filters, front tire 70%, back 40% rideable today. I love this bike, do not need to sell. Looking to sell to someone who will enjoy, unfortunately getting too old for the riding position. Trades possible, don't waste my time.
Don't waste his time.
ATV, UTV, side-by-side, compact tractors, classic motorcycle, no cars, trucks, or junk.
Does he know how much a side-by-side costs?
A lot more than $4,000.
A whole lot more than $4,000. Yeah, you'll never trade that for a side-by-side.
I always find it interesting when people say that a tire is at like 70% or 40%.
Yeah, I've often wondered, it's like, how the fuck do you know?
Just say that it's used.
Yeah,
and
we'll probably need to be replaced somewhat soon.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a much better metric.
Because, 40% to me says, all right, I need to just immediately tack on another $200.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
But.
Very ugly. The gold flaked windscreen is real special.
With a little frog on it.
Yeah, real special there. But again, it's relatively clean. It's really ugly looking, but it's clean.
You can tell it was owned by an older guy, perhaps an older guy with no taste.
Yeah, is that a first gen half faired SV650?
That is
Looks
not,
like
because look at the frame. The frame isn't the tube steel down here like it was on the SV.
Oh, it looks like an SV though. Oh, well.
I think it might be a later gen SV after they swapped the frame out, because that looks like a cylinder head right there.
Yeah.
But this dude is a Suzuki boy through and through. Definitely a hard pass though.
Yeah, hard pass on this one. Let's check our next one.
So our next one.
Oh boy, I'm already liking it.
The first picture is great. So for you Discord boys, this is a 2013 FZ6 with a big old turbo and a shot of dry NOS.
That is fascinating.
Look at this thing.
Oh my god.
I can see why they let off with the turbo picture.
Yeah, because the rest of it's pretty rough. Geez, that's a big turbo for that bike. What the fuck? 44 millimeter turbo. That's crazy. That's bigger than you see in some cars.
It's like what you'd put on the Busa.
Yeah, for a little engine like that, it's going to have a hard time spooling up. Wow, that's crazy. Turboing a 600, you got to be a special kind of crazy, in my opinion. You could just buy a faster bike, You're not at the point, as I get why people turbo boosas, because it's like, I want to go to Mount Olympus for power, I want to hit 300-400 horsepower. You're not even going to make leader bike power with this.
Nope.
And it's a naked bike.
Mm-hmm.
What's going on here? What's the point?
To say you got a turbo on your bike, but look at how short that exhaust is right there.
Oh, it's probably so loud. Jeez. The dump pipe's right there.
Yup. Right by where your head would be when you're trying to drag this bike.
Yeah. The FZ6 is... I've seen mixed reviews on it. I've never ridden one myself. The FZ1 is very well loved. People love the FZ1. because it's got that old R1 engine. It wasn't the cross plane yet back when they made it. It's just like the big stonking, just regular inline 4.
Yep.
The FC6 is kind of sort of hit or miss. I've never seen people fawning over them or anything like that.
No, me either. I know a guy who's got an FZ1 and loves it to bits.
Yeah.
I don't think I know a single person who has owned an FZ6 or owns one.
Yeah, I don't know either.
So probably when you could have just bought an R6, that's what they would have done.
Yeah.
But apparently this is a very turbo-ready motorcycle.
I guess so, yeah. It's the strangest thing. I'd love to put it on a dyno and just see how absolutely fucked the air-to-fuel ratios are and the kind of power it makes. You know, it's probably so bizarre.
Why does it look like it's some sort of just absolutely wretched, just like stunted out bike too?
Probably is.
Like,
But do stunters put turbos on their bike? Not that I know of.
So.
I know that the stunters who do 600s, they just get like a regular 600.
and just put like a 52 through on the back.
Yeah, they don't turbo it.
Maybe that's how this guy needed to get his front wheel up. He's like, I can't. I don't want to put a big sprocket on it. It's too much work. Fuck it. I'll turbo it.
He's like, I need more power to get my front wheel up. Fuck it, I'm gonna turbo this bike. I mean, fucking props. I've never seen a turboed FZ6. That's a first for me for sure. That's fucking crazy.
God, it's just gigantic. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I don't even look at how bent the front fork is too.
Oof.
I just noticed that. Look at how bent the front fork is.
That's a write-off. Yeah, that's done. That's done.
Absolute zero right there.
That's a 0, yeah. Let's cleanse our palate with the last one here.
This one,
did you hand select this one?
No, this one was given to us by a Discord boy. So the reason why I selected this is not because it's a Harley, but because of the photos. These are going to be some of the prettiest photos I've ever seen of a shitty bike on Facebook Marketplace ever. Just look at the depth of field they've got on there.
Got a nice bokeh.
I mean, these are like absolute quality photos of a bike that is absolutely unquality. I like
it's like a photo shoot with like an ugly model or something. You're just like, well, all right.
I don't understand why somebody would do this to their bike. Why cover it in this like plasti dip textured garbage?
Yeah. Taco on the stream says, did you notice it's in Kylene? It's right near us. It's north of us. We could go see it in person if you want.
I really don't. This would actually be kind of a fun little shitty shop bike, though.
Yeah.
Just because get on a gigantic twin cam big bike.
Mm-hmm.
It's oh boy. But like again, the photos are beyond good. They're better than some of the like dealership photos that I've seen before. Mm-hmm. You know, is that still going?
That's fine. Yeah, I'm
Okay,
just checking on it. I just got burned on the camera, so I wanted to make sure because if we lost that, we'd be fucked.
Yes, we would absolutely be fucked.
Okay.
But just why did you do this? Why would you just completely matte this out? Like, are you thinking that it's going to stop radar or something? So when you're cruising at 100 miles an hour down a school zone,
yeah,
it's just, and the straight pipes too. This thing is going to be atrociously loud.
Yeah, even for a Harley.
Wait a second, that is a Hawaii plate.
Whoa,
that is a Hawaii plate.
I love Hawaii plates because they got a little rainbow on them. It's great, just like a happy little plate, you know.
But what is it doing in Texas?
You really wanted to bring it back.
I guess.
It's probably very expensive to get a bike from Hawaii all the way to Texas.
Look at those orange wheels too. That's got to be some sort of custom caliper on there.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And just the heat wrap on the pipes.
Yeah. So you as a Harley boy, this is a wait. What's on the back? It looks like a plastic bin that you move with. What is that?
That right there is that's the top case.
Oh, geez, that's very, very utilitarian looking, huh?
Yep. This thing is.
Yeah, Black Viper Venom on the stream says probably a soldier that got stationed there. Yeah, you see that a lot with guys who are stationed in different places having to ship bikes around, you know. So.
But will they ship? I got to imagine they're shipping the motorcycle out of pocket. That's hundreds, if not thousands, of dollars. Yeah,
if they love it, I guess.
Yeah.
But now it's for sale. I don't know.
Yeah, why not just sell it in Hawaii? A custom stereo in it too. That's not the stock Harley stereo. I mean, the guy did some good stuff with it, and it's in relatively decent shape. It's a $5,000 motorcycle, but I would take less for it because of that paint job on it. I think that's just real bad. Really, you're just buying the motor at that point.
Yeah, definitely.
But just good grief, that thing's kind of ugly.
Yeah, the orange wheels are not really doing it for me.
And look, you've got the like split in this little fairing there.
Yeah.
I just don't get it. I really don't. I've had people tell me that I should, instead of looking at a Sportster or even a Dyna, that I should look at a Street Glide. And I'm like, that is a $25,000 motorcycle, I think, before tax and all that stuff.
That's crazy.
And they're like, oh, well, you can ride it all day. And I was like, but look at it.
Yeah.
I know some guys who have Street Glides and just all of those big non-fixed wing Harleys, and I really don't like the look of them, honestly.
Yeah.
When they tell me that, they're like, they just don't understand why I like something like the Sportster.
Yeah. And this is what we were talking about. It's like any bike you own that you truly love has to have that look back factor.
Yeah.
If you can't look back at it, it's not the right bike.
Yeah, exactly. And I understand why people get that out of this. But
yeah,
10 out of 10 for photos, 0 out of 10 for motorcycle.
Yeah, I think we gave everything a 0 out of 10 today, pretty much.
These are some wretched bikes. Whenever the Discord boys give us...
they always give us the most wretched of wretched.
Yeah, it's really... you guys, props to you. You give us some of the best of the best. Cream gravy of the just garbage motorcycles.
Truly. All right, guys, with that, we're going to wrap up today's Yamcast. Thanks for tuning in, and I appreciate you being here. Remember, you can always go to yammienoob.co if you want to join the fun. You can hang out with us on the stream. You can send us comments. I'm always on there, despite what that other guy said on the call. I am on there every day on the hour. Spike can attest, I'm online all the time on the Discord.
All the time. Yeah,
so I just want you guys to know that. And now we're going to stream our giveaway selection. So thanks for checking out the Yamcast. We'll catch you in the next one. See you later.